So you have seen this light under many different names. This one is Vont, others are Shadowhawk G700 or G800. There are many different versions of this light all over the internet and on TV and on various ads across Facebook and various stores online, usually Chinese trinket stores that are just peddling junk to different parts of the world. So this video really isn't for you if you're a flashaholic, you're a normal subscriber to this channel. You don't need to, you already know what I'm going to tell you, but I'm explaining this for those of you who don't know how you've been had by the Chinese companies when they sell lights like this. The one you're most familiar with is the one on TV or on any if you have cable or anything like that, and it's talking about the Shadowhawk G700, and supposedly it's a military flashlight that's been barely able to be released because the technology is so secret. Folks, this is Chinese junk. This is the latest incarnation of it. It's available on Amazon for 20 bucks for 2 of them. I have 1 and 2 here. Now, I don't even want you to buy this. This video is just informational. This is the best version of those I have found, but the point in making this video is to explain exactly why this is pretty much a piece of junk that's just been rebadged. And of course, Chinese companies do this sort of thing. They rebadge their lights and they sell them to unsuspecting Americans. So here's what we get from this version of it. You have all of the same sort of extremely bright, durable and long-lasting, water-resistant, adjustable focus. People think they're getting such a deal. And then here you get the dimensions, 400 lumens. Guess what, folks? They're actually being honest there. Whoa, I'm surprised. 3 AA batteries, or I'm using one 18650. That's actually an accurate lumen count. I am shocked. I'm nearly falling on the floor. I've done a 2-mile run, so I'm already tired anyway, but what the hell, man? So this is what you get off of Amazon. It comes packaged together. So here's what this light really does. It's just the same ridiculous little square. If I turn it off and I turn it back on, and turn it off and turn it back on, it's going to go through all the modes like a typical piece of shit Chinese light. And then it's going to do the SOS, and people think, wow, I'm getting a good deal. You ain't getting jack shit. You are getting a piece of junk from China. Ooh, now we have a zoomy flashlight. Same piece of junk, folks, that you can get anywhere. Now, on this version, if you leave it in memory long enough, it will go back to high. I think it's about 3 seconds, which is still code for Chinese piece of junk. You're not really getting a lot of light here. You're not, there's really no advantage. And it's using the typical lattice bright. It's not even using an XMLT6 because they haven't made those since about 2015. So it's using a clone, another cheap Chinese clone. So folks, this is what you get. You get just some Chinese junk. For those of you who think that it's special, there's really nothing here. I just made a little cheap Miko battery. There's nothing to love here, folks. There's nothing to love here. Don't get had by these. These are complete Chinese pieces of garbage that have just been rebadged by manufacturers in the US to try to make a buck. Now, if this interests you, what I'm presenting here, here's what I got. Came with the 18650 spacers, which I'm very surprised it did. If that's the case, and you really are interested in this, you can get one of these, but there's no advantage to it operationally. There are better zoomies, there are better lights for hunting, law enforcement. You definitely wouldn't use this piece of shit for law enforcement. But that's the why this is. But most people don't understand the greater point of view. So on the greater point, what is the bigger problem with buying stuff from China? Well, nothing strictly on the merits of it. But one thing that is not going well for the Chinese is the fact that basically, once you buy the flashlight, you have no way of cashing in on your warranty if something happens. There are stories all over the internet about how sellers have cheated their buyers and not honored the warranty, have not replaced the light, or else you can't get the item back to China to have it replaced because the shipping is so much you might as well buy a new light. That's the first thing. Second thing is quality control issues. The Chinese are known for bait and switch, which is actually a third point that kind of stands on its own. Quality control is basically non-existent. You might get one batch with the proper matching tail cap, and the next batch will be a rubbery faded looking tail cap. This is constantly the things that we struggle with here on Budget Light Forum, where we go into all of this sort of stuff, trying to weed through the good lights, or the bad lights, so that you can actually get a good one. And while I'm willing to go out of my way to buy a junkier light for the sake of just having a light to play with, there comes a point at which you put your foot down. You say, this isn't worth it. All right, first in full zoom. This is on high mode. What is harder to see for you is the little lines in the emitter that are visible at a distance in plain use, which of course isn't good. You don't want to see distracting artifacts in your beam. It gets in the way in practical use. You still can't really see it. Zoom it out. Now, as always with zoomies on full zoom out, you have a good useful flood that you could use. In fact, we'll turn it to medium mode, and on even the lowest mode right here, it's actually useful. If the power goes out, you could actually use the lowest mode, and you would have a very long runtime and the ability to light an area. So that feature and the ability to use 3 AAA batteries is something that, thinking survivalist, you could actually argue is pretty useful. So we're in the lowest mode. We're gonna go back through the other useless modes, and we're gonna go back to high. And of course, on the mechanism here, there's nothing preventing me just pushing in and out with my fingers to adjust it, which is not good either, because then when you have it in your pocket or you're carrying it around, it's going to get moved from the spot that you want it. Now here's halfway. Here's a little closer to full, and that's so not much to love here, folks, but who knows? Who knows? You might, for whatever crazy reason, decide you want to add this to your collection. And if you do, well, you know, I guess have at it. Made from aircraft aluminum. It comes in a cool box, but it doesn't. It's lightweight, like any flashlight its size. Literally any flashlight its size. It has no mode memory. It has no way to secure the neck so that it doesn't get readjusted. And firefighters and special forces people do not use it. It has useless SOS and strobe modes. And it has an XPE tactical LED of 800 lumens, even though it doesn't say that on the box. Telescopic focus. Designed in the USA. Yeah, right. Shadowhawk. Failing you just when you need it most.